Namaste and pranams, dear brothers and sisters, respected elders and friends. We welcome you to the morning session on the 30th day of Being Heartful Every Day. This 6th week is all about focus. This quality of the heart of being focused has many aspects to it. Today we will explore practicing focused and deep listening. Now let us take a minute to explore how would deep listening and focused listening be a part of this noble quality of the heart? So we will explore this quality today through the heartful activity for the day, as well as through the inspiration from revered Babaji. I'm sure that most of us who are here today in this live session, and even those who would be joining a little later, would be aware of the heartfulness practices. One very important aspect of heartfulness is heartful communication. Heartful communication goes much beyond just the ability to express oneself in a way that communicates clearly my thoughts and my intentions to the other person. It even incorporates this most vital aspect of deep listening. So, what does deep listening look like, and how does it relate to heartful communication and being in a state of living by the heart? Let us do so. So, today, as we start listening to someone, let us do this activity of connecting our heart with the heart of the other person who is speaking. In that state of connection of both hearts, that of the listener, that is ourselves, and the speaker, which is the other, there will exist a state of osmosis, which will help us realize and recognize that the same divinity that exists within us is within the other also. So let us take a moment here to just feel into and think when there is a bridge that spans from one heart to the other, from the listener to the speaker, or from the speaker to the listener, wouldn't there be a resonance? And it would be like what needed to be communicated through mere words would also go from heart to heart. So while listening to the other person, if we notice any judgments that arise in our minds about the other person, perhaps what the other person is speaking, or any other judgment that we may have based on our previous experience with the person, or even the content of what the other person is telling us, let us attempt to do this very important activity of letting go of those judgments at that time and listening with an open mind and an open heart that is willing to receive the other person, receive whatever that person is communicating to us, and allowing it to go inside. And we will let the other person finish speaking completely before we respond. The key word here being respond. Very often, if we observe ourselves, or if we may have noticed ourselves, or maybe other people in a conversation, sometimes there is this tendency to react. And that tendency to react makes us interrupt the other person because it is as if we have already made up in our minds an analysis or a description of the situation, and we are not listening to respond or understand. We are only listening so that perhaps we can just give our point of view across, however valid and significant it may be. So let us attempt to bring about a shift, a major shift in the way we interact with other people in our lives, starting from today, practicing focused and deep listening, retaining our focus on the heart and the connection to the heart of the other person through a connection that we establish just the way we are establishing a connection to our hearts when we are meditating or reading the inspiration from Babuji in our morning sessions. That same practice of connecting to the heart, feeling the connection from our hearts to the heart of the other person, and then being in that mode of an open mind and open heart that is willing to receive whatever is coming from the other person. Just, it is like a pause. And in that pause, when we are fully receiving the other person as he speaks to us, we find a resonance, a connection, the same divinity that is within us, within the other person, letting go of all judgments that may come to mind, fully being present is that focus. And in deep listening, we wait until the other person has finished, and then we very gently and humbly offer what comes to our mind. And we often find that in this deep listening, where our heart is connected to the heart of the other person, in that response that arises from the heart that is connected and listening, very often what comes out of us as we respond is in a state that is connected to the heart. You will find, as I have found personally in myself, that the very manner in which one begins to speak, it starts undergoing a change. And we find the other person also in a similar state to be willing to listen to us. And that is when a true heart-to-heart conversation takes place. So what a wonderful activity we have for ourselves today to practice focused and deep listening. With this activity now there with us, let us now move towards reading the inspiration from revered Babuji. Let us connect to our hearts, close our eyes. Loosen our bodies and relax. And connect to the source of love that lies within our hearts. Let us bring the state of receptivity and openness within the heart. The same condition of the heart that was of the scribe when she received this inspiration from her beloved Babuji. Let us feel the softness and tenderness in the heart Whispers from the Brighter World, Beloved Master, Revered Babuji Maharaj. Sunday, February 21st, 1999, 9:30 a.m. The Medium. Babuji, my life will have been quite insignificant. Do you know who you really are? Look beyond the veneer of a fleeting incarnation. What you are as an embodied being is not important. What you are spiritually, yes, that is. The personality helps fulfill one's own destiny. It is useful and appropriate for the role we have to play. The beggar has its own importance. The king, too. The former can be a great illuminated soul, and the other a traitor. One should never be attached to appearances, but see only the divine nature that is in everyone and is not necessarily visible. Human criteria are saddening. You are always more sensitive to a person's credentials than to their deeper qualities. Maya manifests itself particularly at this level in all of you. You will respect a prominent person and look condescendingly on the poor fellow who represents nothing in your eyes. Here also, reconsider your values. Do not enter the system of human classification. Respect the beggar as much as the personage you admire the most. God cherishes all his children. He takes them through various stages necessary for their evolution without demeaning them. Your criteria are altogether different from ours. Try to understand this. Be happy to invite the poor person to your table. He might be a lord who is hiding his treasures. Illusion manifests itself in all aspects of life on earth. It is what characterizes it. The planets are like each one of you. They have their unfortunate tendencies. Never be judgmental. Your brother is following his path. You follow yours. Life on earth is never without thorns. Sooner or later, you go through difficult stages. They are useful and should make you aware of the fragility of beings and things to which you are so strongly attached. Focus on what is essential. The ups and downs of life are only there to make us aware of what is important. That is to say, the divine. When all souls have become open to reality, this planet will no longer have its raison d'etre. Cosmic laws govern the universe for the good of the smallest atom in it. The divine laws are always right. Trying to understand them is part of today's reflection. Be united and respectful of each other. That's all for today. My son, JM, is going through a difficult phase of his life. He must rebuild himself morally and define himself better in order to project himself effectively into the future. He will eventually emerge from these long years of difficulties and finally find serenity. His Himalayas are inside himself. He will come out strengthened from this long process that will lead him to wisdom. We follow them both. Blessings to all. Babuji Maharaj. With gratitude in our hearts for revered Babuji, who is forever there with us to show us the way, inspire us with understanding and wisdom. Let us just reflect on the guidance received today and retaining this connection to the heart, the openness, and the love within. Let us prepare to meditate now. Let us once again connect to the source of light and love in the heart. The source of the light that lies deep within the heart and is attracting us from within. We are moving deeper into the source within the heart. With the feeling of prayer and reverence, let us now meditate together. while continuing to feel absorbed within. Let us slowly become aware of what we feel within, the condition of the heart. Let us feel this condition deeply, relishing it with gratitude. This condition is now being absorbed and imbibed into every cell of our body, every particle of our being. Every part of the subtle body. This condition is now radiating outwards and becoming absorbed and imbibed into every particle of our surroundings, the environment, expanding further to the whole world. This condition is now being absorbed everywhere around us. Same oneness of the condition within and without. We are now dissolving into this condition, and only the condition now remains. We offer a prayerful intention. May we all remain connected to this inner condition that has been acquired and allow this condition to be the basis from where our thoughts, speech, and action arise. Let us now take a minute to note down in our diaries the experience of this morning's meditation, the inner condition that we have acquired. We try and put a name to it, as also noting down any guidance we may have received. We feel the gratitude in our hearts for the profound conditions that we receive in meditation, allowing this condition to help us to practice focused and deep listening. Let us set an intention for ourselves to be mindful and take that pause when we are in a conversation with anyone to connect to the heart, to that of the other, and then without any judgment, allow what the other person is conveying to be received in our hearts with deep listening. Wishing everyone on this session and those joining later a beautiful, heartful day ahead. Namaste.